You should give it up. It's a waste for just you to have it. All right, I say, and my mother-in-law and sister-in-law beam with joy. What are they so excited about? I wonder. A month later, I get a frantic call from my sister-in-law. Wait, what's going on? There are strangers living in the house. Trying to stifle a laugh, I respond. I sold the house. My name is Chelsea, a 32-year-old office worker. I've been married to Dale for 5 years now. We were originally college classmates, and we reconnected at a mutual friend's wedding. Even after we became working adults and gained various experiences, being around him always made me feel like I was back in college. That comforting feeling led us to start dating, and after about a year, we got married. Though we were just good friends in college, now he's my life partner. I can't imagine my life without Dale. We both continued working after getting married, committed to our jobs. We decided when we got married to not overburden ourselves with household chores. So when we're tired, we're totally fine with grabbing some ready-made meals, and we're all about using frozen foods. For cleaning, we rely on our Roomba during weekdays and only do detailed cleaning when we have some free time over the weekend. We have a washer and dryer combo, so by morning our everyday clothes like t-shirts are ready to wear. For garments that we don't want shrunk, like fancy clothes, we wash them on weekends, which makes laundry a breeze. By not pushing ourselves too hard, we've been able to live with minimal stress and enjoy a peaceful life. Time flew, and before we knew it, 5 years had passed. But we're still a happily married couple. But even so, married life comes with its challenges. Our main concern has been my mother-in-law, Ellen. You better show up at the family gathering this year. Well, work's busy, so I'm not sure, but if we can make it, we will. You say that, but you're planning not to come, aren't you? You're so rude. You're no son of mine. Oh, she hung up. Since Dale had the call on speakerphone, Ellen's angry voice filled our home. She's being hysterical, isn't she? Seriously, is she completely clueless as to why we deliberately don't attend? Dale had always struggled with Ellen, his mother, too. The root of it, Ellen had always favored his sister Luella over him since they were kids. Luella was drop-dead gorgeous. Wherever she went, people couldn't help but compliment her beauty. Even when she was little, just walking around with Luella would get them stopped by a bunch of people. Ellen reveled in her daughter Luella's looks. On the other hand, while Dale wasn't unattractive, he looked pretty average. As a result, Ellen showered affection solely on Luella. It didn't matter what Dale did. He could never earn a compliment. But Luella? She was praised just for existing. Candy, toys, you name it. Everything was given to Luella. When their father was around, he would try to level the playing field, but he was often away on business, leaving the children with their mother. As a result, Dale often felt incredibly lonely, and that dynamic hasn't changed, even now that Dale is an adult. Luella is incredibly beautiful. Dale, on the other hand, is such a letdown. If only he had landed a job at a big company, he could have saved face, Ellen would say. True, the company Dale joined wasn't well known back then. However, now it's a thriving business. Dale has always been someone who isn't swayed by titles. He's driven by passion. So during job hunting, he researched various companies and applied only to the ones that genuinely interested him. As a result, he's happy at his job and even works as a department head at 32. He earns significantly more than his peers at larger companies, and most importantly, he isn't stressed about money. But Ellen? She only cares about appearances. So she's clueless about Dale's actual achievements. Both Dale and I used to attend family gatherings, but since Dale's father passed away 3 years ago, we stopped going. He was our only ally. Now going to those gatherings means enduring abuse from Ellen and contempt from Luella. We do our best to avoid contact with Ellen, but she keeps trying to interfere in our lives. She's even shown up unannounced at our house. During such times, Dale would lock the door and tell her to leave. She'd then yell for a while, but eventually leave when Dale warned her he'd call the police on her. We generally don't reach out to her, so these incidents are thankfully infrequent. But she still contacts us regularly, which is quite annoying. The worst was when we built our own home last year. We had discussed what we both wanted and built a house where we planned to live forever. It was a dream come true. We were living blissfully until Ellen showed up unannounced one day. When I saw her face on the intercom, I almost lost it. Neither Dale nor I wanted to get involved in any mess, so we hadn't told Ellen or Luella that we were building our home. We had previously received an angry call from Ellen asking, "When did you guys move?" At that time, Dale lied, saying, "Our lease was up, so we moved to a different rental apartment." We were in a panic, wondering how our new address got leaked despite our best efforts to keep it secret. "How did you know where we live, Mom?" Dale questioned through the intercom, to which Ellen responded with a sinister laugh. "I followed you home from work, that's how." A chill ran down our spines at her words. She's a full-blown stalker. "Stop this nonsense. Don't you get that we're avoiding you? You can come here, but we're not letting you in," Dale firmly retorted. This made Ellen furious. "How dare you forget all I've done for you? You're no son of mine." "Well, I never wanted to be your son either. The only reason I stayed in that house was because of Dad," Dale shot back. Upon hearing this, Ellen screamed and yelled, but quietened down when Dale threatened to call the police. As emotional as she got, she apparently didn't want to be arrested. We were devastated that Ellen found out our address. The fear of being stalked by her was now real. So, Dale and I tried to come home together whenever possible, especially since I was afraid she might force her way in if I were alone. However, recently Dale got a new assignment that required him to work alone in Anchorage. Anchorage? "Yeah, we've only built this house a year ago and you have a job, so I'll have to go alone." I see. Though I felt lonely and anxious, I didn't want to get in the way of Dale's career. This assignment was a stepping stone for broader responsibilities and possibly a promotion. A dream job Dale had always wanted. So, I didn't want to be the one to hinder his path to his dreams. Thus began my days living alone in our spacious house we had built with future kids in mind. It felt even emptier than I had imagined. I filled my loneliness by video calling Dale during my days off. I managed to keep busy, sometimes even visiting my family home. But then, my worst fear happened. "Chelsea!" "Whoa!" Ellen suddenly grabbed my shoulders from behind. "Hey, don't scare me like that." "Oh, sorry. You're heading home, right?" It seemed Ellen had realized that I was now alone. "Dale's on a long business trip, huh? Haven't seen you two coming home together recently." "Ellen, that's stalking." "Really? First time hearing that a mother worrying about her son is stalking." "You're not really worried, are you? You're just curious about the home we bought, aren't you?" "Don't be absurd. I truly care and worry about my son." Ellen must have thought he could come into my house if it were just me, but there was no way I was letting her in. So I retraced my steps. "Hey, where are you going?" "I just remembered I left something at the office." "You're going back to the office now?" "Yes, I am." I thought saying this would make Ellen give up, but she didn't. She insisted on following me, even when I told her I would be fine without her. "It's dangerous for a woman to walk alone at night," she said, trying to tag along. At this point, it was downright creepy. The most dangerous thing was Ellen herself. I decided not to go to the office, but headed for my parents' home instead. "It's quite a distance to your workplace." "We're almost there." It seemed Ellen finally realized when we stood right in front of my childhood home. "Isn't this your parents' house?" "You were so persistent, I decided to come home. Want to come in?" "No, thanks." Ellen stormed off, visibly upset. I watched her go and quietly smiled. My parents had already known I was coming, thanks to a quick text. They welcomed me warmly. For a while, I decided to commute from their house. If it were just a day, Ellen would probably be staking out my house. So I chose to stay with my parents for about 2 weeks. Sure enough, I got a call from Ellen a few days in. She probably was keeping tabs on me. I ignored it and spent those 2 weeks at my parents', after which my dad drove me home. Ellen was nowhere to be seen, probably because she wouldn't dare show up in front of my parents. For a while, Ellen stayed away. But one evening, when I got home from work, there she was, waiting in front of my house. And not just her, Luella was there too.
Long time no see, Chelsea.
Hey.
I've noticed you're not letting Mom into your house much. Not cool for a daughter-in-law, don't you think?
And while checking out the exterior of the home I share with Dale, they said,
Such a big house. It's totally wasted on Dale.
Right? I think it'd be great for you and your husband to live in, Luella. What? What are these people even talking about?
I've decided that from now on this house will be for me and my husband. Dale still isn't back, so he's probably on some sort of solo work assignment, right? Whether he's on a long business trip or whatever, it doesn't matter. This house deserves someone as fabulous as me living in it. You're wasting it all by yourself. Hand it over.
That's what Luella had the nerve to say. How much self-confidence does she have? But at that moment, an idea popped into my head. If you feel that strongly about it, let me consult with Dale. I took out my phone and called Dale, making sure to step away so Ellen and Luella couldn't hear. I told Dale the situation as well as the idea I'd just had. He was surprised, but said that if I was okay with it, then he was too. I hung up and returned to where Ellen and Luella were. You're right, perhaps the house would be better off in other hands. At this, Ellen and Luella beamed with delight. Congrats, Luella.
Oh my gosh, getting a house like this is amazing.
Now I can finally come over and visit this place. What are they even celebrating about? I locked the front door as I went inside, ignoring them.
Hey, we're moving in next month. Make sure you're gone by then.
With that, Luella and Ellen left. I immediately proceeded with the plan I had discussed with Dale. With help from my dad, everything went smoothly. It was hectic, but the outcome was exactly as I'd hoped. A month later, I got a frantic call from Luella.
What the heck is going on? There are strangers living in the house.
Suppressing a chuckle, I replied, I sold the house.
What?
Someone interested in real estate investment bought it. My dad's acquaintance from a real estate firm took care of it. They found a buyer right away, so I don't know anything about the current occupants.
How could you sell it without telling me?
Actually, I did consult with Dale before selling.
That's not the point. We were supposed to move in. You even agreed.
I only agreed that the house might be better off with someone else. Never said it would be you, Luella.
Are you kidding me? We've already canceled our apartment lease.
That doesn't matter to me. The one who moved here under a misunderstanding is you, Luella, right? Usually you'd buy the place, right? Do you actually think you can just waltz in and live here for free? Are you taking life too lightly or something?
Oh, stop lecturing me.
Look, I'm not even wasting my time lecturing you. I'm just stating what I think about your situation, Luella. You've been coddled by a mom who would stalk people and barge into their homes. So I guess it's not surprising you turned out this way.
Ugh, you're so annoying.
Feel free to be annoyed, but do you hear that? Sounds like a police siren. Luella, are you already making a scene in front of a house that's already owned by someone else?
What? No, wait.
We moved here. Seems like the police had been called on my sister-in-law and her husband. I had hung up the call by then, but from what I heard from the neighbors, Luella kept insisting that it was their house. However, the person inside the house showed the land deed, proving it was Luella's, and they were then taken away by the police. Ellen rushed to the police station and managed to get them temporarily released. But Luella was severely shaken by the experience. What's worse, word spread quickly, and Luella started receiving mocking texts, which apparently damaged her emotionally. She began to blame Ellen for everything, and their relationship hit rock bottom. Since they no longer had a home, they had no choice but to move into their parents' house. The atmosphere was incredibly awkward, living there as a trio. But it seems like Luella's husband couldn't take it anymore and ended up having an affair about a month later. Now, Luella and he are in the midst of a messy divorce. As for me, I sold my house and moved to Anchorage to start a life with Dale. I had planned to quit my job and find a new one locally, but got approval to work remotely. So now I'm juggling household chores and welcoming Dale home every day while working from home. Being able to spend time together as a couple makes me realize how happy we can be, no matter where we are. I cherish my time with Dale and look forward to spending the rest of my life with him.